Richician!
Hey YouTube, Richician84 here, and after a 2-week absence, welcome to Q&A number 146, which by the way is being redone because I somehow forgot to plug my mic in, which I'm really annoyed about because I basically did a lot of talking about what I'm going to have to say again. Fuck my life. Yeah, apologies that there was no episode last week, but I know you guys understand. Now some will know what happened, some are probably curious as to what happened, but yeah, what happened last week was, which I explained before getting into the Q&A, me and Emma were taking a long walk through the countryside and by a couple of hills, and as we were going up one of these hills, there was this little ledge bit on the side of the path. Don't worry, there wasn't a steep drop or anything, but I guess what happened was she missed a step and basically fell over on her side, and her foot sort of rolled sideways, and she sprained her ankle. And of course it was hurting when she got back up and tried to walk, but don't worry, it is not broken and we don't think it's fractured, just sprained. And basically we had to try and get a lift back home, which we did, and yeah, obviously we had to basically put ice packs, ibuprofen gel, just the works on where it hurts, and obviously alternate between those, and obviously clean up, eat, get rehydrated, all that stuff. And of course there was no time to do the Q&A really, yeah, because obviously her well-being is more important. And then a few days later I had to help get her back to her place. You know, she is doing a lot better now, although it hasn't quite healed fully, but just needs several more days or however long it takes, and she'll be completely as right as rain, I'm sure. She might be alright in a couple of days, who knows. So yeah, that's what happened basically. And yeah, let's kick the Q&A off. The first two questions are from Matt and Alison Welch. 1. Matt and myself have been doing a lot of old horror movie watching, and we've been watching some of our favourites, which are The Crazies, The Visit, and Happy Death Day. Out of all three of these movies, which one do you think is the scariest in your opinion? I'm afraid I can't answer that question because I've never seen or even heard of these movies. I mean, maybe Happy Death Day was mentioned some time ago, can't remember, but either way I've never seen these, so yeah, I'm afraid I can't answer this. If I do get round to watching them, then I'll get back to you on that one. 2. Since we got a new Blue Eyes White Dragon card for the Millennium archetype in Rage of the Abyss, do you think we will get more for the Millennium archetype, like a new Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl, or maybe even new versions of the Egyptian gods? I don't think we'll get new versions of the Egyptian gods, because then it feels like it kind of takes away from the original ones. Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl is a possibility. Not sure what they could do, but it's still a possibility. Next 10 questions are from Super Ultra Hero 9961. 1. Would you do Dark Magician versus Elemental Heroes, please? You using your Elemental Heroes, someone using your Dark Magician deck, please. And you don't need to if you don't want to. Well, even though these are my two favourite decks of all time, and I love a matchup between them, I'm not really sure I feel the need to do this. I mean, it's not that I don't want to, but the thing is, this request was already done, although it was ages ago. I can't remember how long it's been, but it was done like 2 or 3 years ago. Well, I don't know how long you've been watching my videos, so it wouldn't surprise me if you didn't know about this, which is fair enough. But it was basically me using Dark Magician and my good friend Sparkman91 using my Elemental Heroes. I mean, I'm pretty sure I still have a playlist for my request duels, so yeah, feel free to check that out. The other thing is, there have been several matchups on both my channel and the Team Sorcerer's channel where my Dark Magician and Elemental Hero decks have clashed. And yeah, I just feel like it's one of those matchups which I just don't want to happen too often. With matchups, I generally try to mix things up, keep things interesting, as I try as much as possible to avoid showing matchups with the same deck over and over again in case it gets boring. And in the case of Dark Magician and Elemental Heroes, it's a matchup that I also don't want to have happen too much, yeah, if I can help it, because otherwise then that would get boring, potentially. 2. Is Jaden your third favourite character? Not quite. I rated him as my fourth one, with Mana, no, Dark Magician, Girl, Mahard, and a tie between Yugi and Atem. Although I might have to redo this top 10 list, because sometime in 2016 I did a top 10 video for my top 10 favourite characters, and naturally this was before Reigns was a thing, and since then Playmaker and Revolver have also become two favourite characters of mine, so I might have to redo that list, but don't you worry, Jaden will still be very high on that list. 3. Do you think Shining Flare Wingman should be Jaden's ace monster? Well, even though it's my favourite Elemental Hero, I'm gonna say no to that one. Even though Shining Flare Wingman is the ace monster of my Elemental Hero deck, I don't think he should be Jaden's, even though I love it when he brings it out. Because I'm just not too sure that a fusion whose materials are a fusion monster and a main deck monster should be the ace monster for a protagonist. So I feel like something like Neos or Flame Wingman is perfectly fine. 4. Is there some other artworks of cards you like better than the original artworks? Does Dark Magician count? Because there's the Legend of Blue Eyes artwork, and then there's the starter deck Yugi artwork, which is the same artwork used in the anime, which is my personal favourite artwork. I've no idea whether or not that counts, and I don't know whether or not Legend of Blue Eyes and the Yugi starter deck came out at the same time, or whether Legend of Blue Eyes came out before the Yugi starter deck, so it's hard to say. But otherwise, I'm going to say no, because well, I prefer the original artworks of cards, and as I've said a few times already, I don't care for alternate artworks. 5. What is your most hated Xyz monster? Mine being number 38. That card is so annoying, negate any spell I refuse to run in my Yuma deck. I'm not really sure that would be considered a Yuma card, though, unless he added it, like, some point in the manga. Anyway, well, while I agree that number 38, Hope Harbinger, is really annoying, my most hated Xyz monster is actually Cyber Dragon Infinity. I mean, I do agree with you that number 38 is annoying. In fact, that card is actually my fourth most hated Xyz monster, my number one hated number monster, and is among my top 15 arch nemesis monster cards. But yeah, I do agree. Number 38 is just an annoying piece of shit that spell heavy decks just auto lose to. But as annoying as that is, Cyber Dragon Infinity is so much worse due to the fact that it negates everything. Hence why I hate it so much. I mean, in my personal opinion, it's the most degenerate Xyz monster in the entire game. I'm sure there's that one person who'll disagree with me and say that there's one that's even worse, but I'm not going to get into that debate because I'm sick and tired of that debate. In fact, I'm just sick and tired of Yu-Gi-Oh! Arguments in general at this point. But anyway, back on topic. I mean, Infinity is just basically an auto win button. Then again, the same could be said for any monster that negates everything. Whenever that card comes out, it's game over. It doesn't matter if there's an out like a Kaiju or a Super Poly, there's no guarantee that you'll draw the out. Yeah, Infinity is just degenerate and toxic as fuck. And it ruined Cyber Dragons for me. In fact, I swear, like, no offence to Cyber Dragon players, but it just feels like all they ever do is just summon Infinity and basically get a free win. Right, yeah, there is also Sega and Rampage, but they're more used for OTK purposes rather than lockdown purposes. Yeah, Infinity is just why I just don't like playing against Cyber Dragons anymore. That's why it's banned in Richician format. But yeah, that answers that question. Oh, and if you're curious about my second and third most hated Xyz monsters, the second is Totally Arsehole, and the third is Naruto the Great Moral Leader. For more information, check out my list for the top 10 hated Xyz monsters. 6. I know you hate the Red Eyes and Dark Magician fusion. That would be Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. But do you like the artwork at least? And I agree that card is so annoying. It's a love-hate card for me. Oh yeah, the artwork is nice. Regardless of whether it's a card I like or really hate, the artwork is amazing. I don't feel like I talk about the artwork of cards enough, unlike my good friend Wyvern Watch. Yeah, the artwork on Dragoon is amazing. It's really incredible and really gothic. Yeah, that's the only positive thing I can say about Dragoon, really. Although, if it didn't have its negation effect, I wouldn't have a problem with it, and I would happily run it in my Dark Magician and Red Eyes Black Dragon decks. 7. Would you add Elemental Hero Dark Neos and Elemental Hero Grand Neos into the side deck of your Elemental Hero deck? It's not something I considered doing, but I'd be willing to do it. Because I am working on a side deck already, which is all of the classic anime Elemental Heroes that I don't have room for in my Elemental Hero Fusion deck. Yeah, I still call it the Fusion deck, because even though the actual name is the extra deck, it's just all fusions. And like I've said before, I like to keep it GX old school. Like, I don't play any synchros, exceeds, or links in there, and I'd like to keep it that way, just to give it that classic GX feel. But anyway, to answer your question, Dark Neos and Grand Neos is something I'd be willing to put in the side. I mean, I'd have the room for it, not so much on Edo Pro, because rather annoyingly there's no way to change the extra deck limit. But for my real life deck, it's definitely something I'd consider doing. I'd just have to pick up a copy of each of them. 8. Do you think we can play against each other in the future? It's a possibility. I don't know how we could do it, really, outside of Edo Pro. I have Dueling Book, but I can't fully remember my login details. And I don't really prefer to use Dueling Book anyway. But other than that, it is a possibility, and it also depends on what format you play and what format you'd be willing to play. Because the thing is, I don't know if you know this or not, but I don't play the normal current format anymore, and I really, really don't want to play the normal current format anymore because it's so shit. And the closest thing would be Richician format, Express Gaming format, and this alternate format that someone I know is working on. I mean, I don't want to name any names or give anything away because I'm not sure I should give anything away, but it is something I'd be willing to give a go. That's like I said, that's the closest thing to the normal current format I'd rather play. Where was I? Oh yeah, 9. Would you put Prisma back in your Elemental Hero deck eventually? Maybe, but it depends if I can find the room for him. But it's tricky. I mean, at the moment, my Elemental Heroes are at 44 cards. Because when I officially made Richician format a thing, I decided to put Blade Edge, Wildheart, Necroshade, and Bubbleman back in the deck. Which is tricky because I normally prefer to have my decks at 40 because it's more consistent, but I figured Elemental Heroes would be fine because it's one of the most consistent decks in the game, and there's lots of search power with E-Core, Stratos, Shadow Mist, and Rota, which should make up for it. Oh yeah, and there's EN Engaged Neo Space as well. So that should balance the high number out. But I don't know about Prisma. It would make sense, because I can do the classic play of revealing Darkbright and sending Necroshade to the graveyard. So I can normal Blade Edge just like that, or even Neos. And 10. Do you think Neos looks so good as a super rare? That's my favourite rarity of Neos. It does look good, yeah, although I feel like he's a little bit pale as a super rare. I don't know. I feel like unlike the common and the ultra, it's more of a pale yellow. I don't know. I don't know if anyone else has noticed that. I mean, it looks good, and I don't care that much about rarity. But I don't know. I kind of prefer um, the first two printings of it, where it's just more yellow. Even the common reprint in the Hero Strike structure deck seems to be a bit on the pale side. I don't know. Um, I mean, it's only a minor detail that I've looked at, but um, I don't know. I also do prefer like the OCG ultra rare. I know we have a TCG ultra rare printing, but that has the alternate art, whereas in the TCG, it, it has an ultra rare printing with its original artwork, which I actually do have in my Elemental Hero collection thanks to Margin Sage of Darkness. Um, I don't know. I mean, I agree Neos does look nice as a super, but I kind of prefer it in common and ultra, um, along with the fact that ultra rare is my favourite rarity. And that's it for my questions. I hope you reach 500 subscribers. I'm looking forward to the movie. I subscribed to your channel 2 times. That's how much I love your videos. 2 times. Wow, that is generous and a lot of love right there. I love your videos and have a great day, my friend. Ultra Hero out. Thank you very much, my friend. Hope you have a great day too. Next questions are from Webbers5. 1. How was your birthday? It was good, thank you. Shame I turned the age that I did. I hate getting older, but it was still nice all the same. Had to get up early for my presents though, since we had to be out of that lodge. And I got some really cool presents. I got this T-shirt right here. I got the Eye of the Tiger. I got this binder off my brother, and he also got me 2 boxes of wide, clear Dragon Shield sleeves, which I wanted for my 4 character decks. So now my character decks are double sleeved, which I really needed because those sleeves just peel too easily, and Dragon Shield is just good, strong sleeves. Um, Emma got me 3 things, one of which was a set of tiny bottles of Jack Daniels and some other whiskey, which was nice. Um, I've yet to receive the other 2 presents, as yeah, ordering them was a little tricky. And I also got this file thing, which mentions a piece of history about the month and year that I was born in. There's some pretty cool stuff in there. I don't really want to give too much away about my age on here, although maybe this T-shirt kind of did. Oh yeah, and my other brother got me a ticket to see this Sonic thing, which isn't happening till September. I need to find it because it's meant to be a late birthday present for me and an early birthday present for my other brother. So he did put it in a group chat. Sonic Symphony, that was it. Yeah, there's a plan to go there like in September, I think. So yeah, very cool presents. I'm surprised I didn't take a photo of my presents and put it on other social media. Didn't think to do that. Oh yeah, and then of course I'm getting 3 other pop figures from Express Gaming when I see him next. And then after that um, we went to a safari park, and this sort of park area next to a mansion, in Wiltshire. I did do a compilation video about that the other day. For those who haven't seen it, go check that out. It was pretty nice. Well, not pretty nice. It was fantastic. Even had a maze which me and Emma went in. I thought we were going to get lost in there for hours, but thankfully we figured it out rather quickly. And of course there was ice cream, and then for dinner we had chicken and rice. So yeah, that was a good time all around. And then of course before my birthday we stayed in Centre Parks and did a lot of swimming and other activities. I rode a Segway for the first time ever. I thought it was going to be awkward, but I managed it just fine. And of course I learnt how to paddleboard, and yeah, I seriously thought I was going to fall off and into the lake, but I just managed to do it like a charm. Yes, I managed to do the standing up technique right away, and the rowing techniques. I still had a bit of trouble steering and stopping, but for the most part I got the hang of it. Emma fell in a couple of times though, although one disadvantage of not falling in was the fact that I got so hot in my wetsuit. Yeah, it just felt like I was getting hot and sweaty, and I needed to just get it off as soon as we finished. And I needed a cold drink. Yeah, that was good. She also did archery as well, and so did my sister-in-law, while my brothers did some rock climbing. And then most of those guys did paddleboarding as well. And my brother and my sister-in-law also went off to some spa thing. Yeah, that was the birthday weekend in a nutshell. 2. Any thoughts on the new Dark Magician in Infinite Forbidden? Apologies if this has already been asked. It was already asked, although I don't remember how many episodes it's been. But but like I said before, it is cool and surprising, actually, considering that the Gold Sarcophagus of Light archetype is supposed to be retrains for Little Yugi's monsters, and he didn't use Dark Magician in the final duel with a Tem. Although I also figured that it might be a reference to the Dark Side of Dimensions movie, where Little Yugi used Dark Magician and used the artwork where he has white hair and he's in black robes, basically. So that's what it made me think of. So it just seemed like a low-key way to combine both archetypes, but I'm not going to do that because I have no interest in picking up the Gold Sarcophagus of Light stuff. But I will, however, pick up this new Dark Magician and Dark Magic Mirror Force for my Dark Magician collection. the card collection, that is. Actually, I'm going to need 2 copies of the new Dark Magician. One for my actual... Actually, wait, no, because it's not an actual Dark Magician. No. One will be all I need for the Dark Magician card collection. Because the other Dark Magician collection is supposed to be Dark Magicians, which are every TCG printing that it's ever had. Yeah, I just got confused for a moment there. 3. If I told you my new version of Endymion, Endymion is maining trap cards and Dimension Shifter, would you think it's interesting or question if I've been replaced by someone else pretending to be me? I would say it's both. As well, because running trap cards isn't something you usually do with your Endymion deck. I don't think you've had trap cards in your deck before, as far as I remember, but it, yeah, it does sound like an interesting choice. Dimension Shifter is kind of surprising, considering it does stop your spellbook engine. Oh yeah, and the Magician's Souls package as well. I guess it makes sense though, considering that Infernoids have got new support recently, much to my annoyance. Plus, Snake Eye is still running about, as far as I'm aware. I haven't, as I'm sure you know, I don't keep track of the meta, at least not completely, because I don't care for competitive play anymore. But yeah, I can understand the need to run D-Shifter. And I guess to be fair, Magician's Souls can mill out any dead copies of D-Shifter in the deck. Yeah, it is interesting to say the least. Yeah, like I said, I'd say a bit of both, as playing traps in Endymion just doesn't sound like you at all. I'm not even sure what traps you'd be running. I'm assuming they're going to be floodgates, but what do I know? And the last 5 questions are from Express Gaming, who has some more would you rather questions. 1. Would you rather spend a day in the North Pole or a day in the desert? Didn't this question come up before? I feel like it did, if not something similar did. Well, even though I prefer hot weather to cold weather, but not that hot though, I'm going to say the North Pole, because the desert is... Well, a desert is just lethal. There's like hardly any water or life, except maybe snakes and scorpions, depending on which desert it is. Ugh, damn that. But I feel like the North Pole would be better, because at least that way I can wrap up warm, and I'm trying to remember if the Northern Lights can be seen from there, or whether that's Greenland, or both. I'm not sure, but there is this idea of taking Emma to see the Northern Lights, because obviously we... when was it? Was it May? I feel like it was May, where we were able to see an aurora that Friday night, and people were saying that it was going to happen again on the Saturday night, but it didn't happen. Much to everyone's disappointment. Um, and Emma was disappointed that she missed out on seeing those. Um, so I'm just thinking, if I can, then I can take her somewhere where she can see the Northern Lights. Um, I mean, that won't happen anytime soon. Could take a few years to save up for such a trip, but yeah, that it is another idea, and yeah, I know it would mean a lot to her. 2. Would you rather spend one day in the ocean on a boat or one day in the jungle alone? I'm gonna say the ocean, because in the jungle there's yeah, well, you never know with the jungle. There's hidden dangers in there. Again, there could be snakes, and also like big cats. Lions, cheetahs, tigers. Um, although, wait, are there tigers in Africa? I don't think they are. I know. Or is it just India that tigers come from? I'm not quite sure. No, I'm just trying to remember that bit based on the Jungle Book. Well, I guess it depends which jungle and which part of the world said jungle this is in. Um, and then, of course, there'd be rivers where you'd have crocodiles or alligators, and don't want to run into those. So, yeah, I'm going to say the ocean, because at least that's way it's more peaceful, but it would have to be on a day where there aren't any insane storms and what have you. So, uh, that is one downside to it. Um, but I mean, yeah, there is also the danger of sharks like out in the ocean. But I feel like as long as I'm in the boat and don't do anything to aggravate said sharks, then it should be okay, theoretically. 3. Would you rather spend one night at a haunted, abandoned, scary place or spend a night in prison? Um, I'm gonna say spend the night in a prison. Um, I feel like I technically feel safer there. As well, you never know what could happen in a haunted, scary place. I mean, there'd be just too much of a scary vibe that it would be hard to sleep, and I'd just be on edge all the time. Um, and you never know, you could get weird people stumbling in and like, well, giving trouble. Whereas in a prison, yeah, there'd be yeah, dangerous people would be in prison, but I feel like as long as I'm in a separate cell, then I would be okay. And then of course there's prison guards and stuff. 4. Would you rather try to make friends with a big cat or a big wolf? Oh, that's a really tough question, considering both of these can be dangerous and could tear me apart if they wanted me to. Um, I mean, I don't know about wolves, but I know it is possible to tame big cats, hence the lion tamers at circuses. So, I would say a big cat. And then there's also the fact that I love cats. And the final question of the whole video: would you rather be a whale or an octopus? Again, that's a very tough one. A really tough one. Wow. I wish I had more time to think about this one. Um, I suppose octopuses, or octopi, if that's even a word, I don't know, they can get pretty much anywhere, really, and can squeeze through tight spots. Whereas, whales can just freely and gracefully swim around just like that and eat a lot, which I feel like would be up my street because I'm kind of a big eater myself, although nowhere near as big as a whale. um, but I know they do need to come up to the surface and get some air. At least I'm pretty sure they do. I know dolphins definitely need to. I don't know. I mean, yeah, they're definitely more majestic and graceful, whereas I don't know, octopus. Well, no, well, I guess I don't know. Octopus maybe not as graceful in appearance. Oh, sounds so bad. I feel like I'm being insulting towards octopuses, and I'm trying not to be, but I just don't know. I guess they can still just get anywhere. I mean, I don't even know if they need air or not. I'm trying to think. I know they can sort of wiggle about, like out of the water, like on the surface of a boat or something, and can stay underwater for long periods of time. Then again, I don't know how I'd feel about trying to squeeze through tight places. Man, this is really tough. Really tough. To be a whale or to be an octopus? I'm also trying to think whether or not there's still people who hunt whales, or whether or not that's been made illegal. Because if that's still a thing, then there is the danger of that. Then again, I guess there is possible predators for octopus. Do they even have one? I'm not sure. I mean, I was thinking about whales as well, but I'm thinking of the colossal squid and sperm whales, which have battles in the deep, dark depths of the ocean. I don't know. I feel like a whale is still a safer bet, so I'm gonna say I would rather be a whale. Boy, that took a lot of rambling to jump to that conclusion. I apologise. And yeah, that is it for questions in this episode. Boy, this has been the longest one I've done in a while. And Kynan, don't say that's what she said. Even though I probably would have said that too. Anyway, yeah, that's it for questions in this episode. Thank you very much for your guys' questions. Very cool ones as always. And if you've got any other questions you want to ask me, post them in the comments section down below. And remember, I do these episodes every Tuesday afternoon or evening, UK time. So be sure to get your questions in before then, so that you don't miss out. Thanks again, stay safe, and I'll catch you guys later. See ya. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the Richician YouTube channel.